Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back, and looks like the two students just cut out on us, but that's okay. We're on with Manny Johnson, and Manny and I are going to talk about the update on the Hemp Farm, which is really a vertically integrated CBD business. Manny, welcome back to the show.
Well, Jim, thanks for having me back on the show. It's always wonderful to try to help other people and help them understand what can be done with some of the plant medicines in the world instead of using pharmacology.
Well, stop right there, because you talk about plant medicines and, things like aspirin comes from the willow, for instance. So you've brought together a team. Tell me a little bit about your team and why they've come together.
Well, I've worked in the cannabis industry. I got into I worked in the cannabis industry since it became legal. And cannabis is marijuana and hemp. We started out with the marijuana, and we were just using oils and low THC products. And we were using it for seizure disorders and post-traumatic stress, things of the, neuroprotective abilities and antioxidants. And I got together working on licenses in different states, and I would do that for groups of investors that wanted them. So I had unlimited resources to get the best people in the world in each area. And so I started off, I'm a third-generation farmer, and I said, okay, well, if we start, we're going to start with a seed, and we're going to end up with a product. Okay, and I wanted to get the best PhD level person in the world in each one of those areas, which would be the seed, taking the seed and making it into a tissue culture clone, which is an exact DNA duplicate of the plant, so that you can plant an entire crop and it all be the exact same chemical composition, so you're going to get the same CBD, THC ratio out of each plant. Plus, it's going to be the same height and width, so you can harvest it more effectively. So you go from there into the processing, the extraction methods, using the safest for human consumption, purest for human consumption. So you're not creating a poison. Because I found that so many of these cultivators were using landscape plant pesticides. And I even had a discussion last night with a couple of departments of agriculture for different states. And they're still using the same garbage. So, the consumer beware. Demand that the product that you get be safe. And, we put together a team that goes through every part of this process, down to designing a nutraceutical with a University of Miami Medical School professor, with a science professor that's got 35 years of retired professor emeritus in organic chemistry. He does all of the molecular discoveries of us, and there's, when we first started with this quote unquote cannabis plant, there was probably about 40 cannabinoids in one form of THC. Now there's 10 forms of THC at least, and there's 144 different cannabinoids. And if you really look at it closely as a scientist, you'll find that that's really only taking up half of what the molecular composition of the extracts that they get. So we're going to find a lot of other things in this plant.
Now, Manny, I was on the other day speaking to an economic development official from Palm Beach County, and they were telling me that they're very excited about having hemp come to the Treasure Coast, that they call it up there. And she mentioned that one of the things holding them back, well, there were a couple. One was that there was no place for them to take the hemp to make it into things. And the other was that they didn't know how to make sure that the hemp they were growing would be legal under state regulations. What steps are you and our team taking about that?
Well, we have one of the products that we have that we got the rights to is a product that the farmer can use for testing all along, to test his crop so that it doesn't get what quote unquote hot over 1% THC.
So we'll be able to help them monitor that then. That'll be one of our business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then our business model calls for, the best of the best analytical and testing equipment that's available in the world to test for this. So we'll be testing continuously, trying to improve our products and trying to guide people into using certain products that will help them. And in terms of making doing the processing, we're loaded on the end of processing. We're loaded with cultivation and we're loaded with processing, equipment and facilities and knowledge, some of the best PhDs in the world in those areas. And we're loaded with that because we know that's where the issues are. And we want to be able to solve the issues.
Now, Manny, a lot of people are entering the business. They're doing it without a lot of education. What would you say would be a good place for them to go take a look, obviously, before we get our start, and then they can start looking at what we're doing?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I was doing seminars a year ago at different states, and we would have not only the USDA, but we would have the universities from those different states come to the seminars, and they knew absolutely nothing about hemp. They had no clue because hemp was illegal until the Farm Bill of 2018. And so the universities would tell them, hey, stay away from anything with hemp, because we don't want to lose any of our federal funding for the entire university. So that fear kept them away from any type of knowledge. And so, they were starting out with really no knowledge. And, they've done some what they call, a lot of hemp states are doing what they call hemp testing sites and hemp projects to, learn how to grow this plant better. Whereas, our group was growing it our main grower has been growing it since 1979 in Canada. He was from a missionary family on an Indian tribe. And we also just recently, in 2012, we were growing it in Austria and Hungary. So we've had a lot of experience with this because there wasn't the negative stigma attached to the hemp plant. Which, by the way, I mean, we have a report that Jim has a copy of that. There's a hemp house there, and that entire house is made out of hemp. So you can do any. I mean, the largest manufacturers of hemp in Germany are BMW and Audi, and they're doing it to replace the plastic parts of their cars.
Well, I want to take a short break here, and then I want to come back and talk a little bit more about the business, what kind of products can be made, and why the numbers are so ridiculously big in this industry. Manny, can you please stick with me for one more segment?
Of course.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. Reagan, let's rock the world. Everybody, I want to remind you that this is South Florida's longest running business talk show. We've been on since 2008. Since 2012, Warren Henry's been our sponsors. They're tremendous. They treat us like family, just like they'll treat you like family. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar, they're all exceptional cars, and they all come with a Warren Henry advantage. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they've got them all. That Warren Henry advantage that they come with, well, that's a suite of services that you get when you buy your car. You get a complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the Warren Henry and the 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 full days to make sure you like your Warren Henry vehicle. They will. You will. I promise. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and lots of our friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price, always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Hi, and I'm Jim Freed. You can reach me on my website or just Google Jim Freed and you'll find me. I'm not allowed to give my phone number out anymore because, well, somebody cyber attacked me. Anyway, call me because when you call me, it's always all about you. Why is it always all about you? Because that's the way the world should work. Give me a call. I can help you with commercial real estate, residential real estate. I just did a loan for one of my clients' kids to help them buy a house. I also did a $8-9 million mezz loan on a healthcare facility, and I recently did an $80 million condo inventory loan. If you call me, I can get it financed for you. And now I'm going to help finance our hemp farm. I can get it done if it makes sense. Give me a call or DM me, Jim Freed. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Back with Manny Johnson. Manny's my partner. Manny is an entrepreneur in the cannabis and hemp space, and Manny is perhaps the #1 expert on hemp in the state of Florida. Welcome back to the show, Manny. I want to talk to you, Manny, a little bit about a couple of different things. You've decided to put the farm in the Treasure Coast area of the Jupiter area up by Lake Okeechobee. Why did you pick that? And what type of hemp are you growing there? Is it the same as hemp in Colorado?
Well, no, you can't grow any type of. I mean, hemp is a very geographically based plant, meaning if you can grow a hemp and you'll get the same types of oils and same types of textiles and things of that nature. But the deal is you got to use different strains in different areas. And people are still experimenting with that because, like I said, there's only, Florida's having their second crop this year. Okay, so you have to find out the strains that'll work in that area. The reason we're using Indiantown is we had the University of Florida do a study for us to determine the best place in the United States to grow plants, to grow hemp, and they came back with the area near Lake Okeechobee, which is like Martin County, and Indiantown is in Martin County, and the reason we did that is because the climate is virtually perfect. You get whereas you've got almost perfect climate. You've got the humidity from Lake Okeechobee adds to the protection in the winter and the protection in the summer for excessive heat and cooling. And then you've got some of the most fertile land in the world. I mean, there's some of the largest vegetable growers have been using them, have grown in that area for probably 20, 25 years, maybe even longer. And the beauty of it is it doesn't have that, we can get around 3 crops a year. Okay, if you grow it even in the Apopka area near Orlando, you're only going to get 2. If you grow it south of us, you're only going to get 2. And of course, you're going to run into a whole plethora of problems in all these areas because you start getting around high humidity, which South Florida is high humidity, high heat. You run into a tremendous amount of insect problems. And so, it's the perfect place to grow it. And we have an organic grower who is one of the best in the world. So we have been very, very blessed in putting this team together. I don't think there's anyone else that we should add to it. And if there was, I would add them.
So, Manny, then let's say that you come up and your team goes up there and they start experimenting with the hemp varieties and they come up with something that's new. Is that something they can patent and protect and make money on?
Well, that's the whole point. The whole point is to start off like we'd mentioned earlier with, you start off with seeds and you make like a tissue culture clone from that seed because like a seed is a family member, Your brother might be taller than you. He might weigh differently. His hair color will be different. Your sister might look completely different because those are like seeds. They're like families, okay? And tissue cultures are exact DNA duplicates. So it's like you get exactly the same thing every time. So think about it. You've just gotten your first part of tissue culture is your first part of intellectual property. And you can design your hemp products, not only for yourself, the tissue culture, but you can grow the tissue culture plants and sell them all over the country specifically for that particular region in the country.
Wow.
So yes, everywhere you start, and I was just using that as an example. You design a nutraceutical that can help people sleep at night, it'll be sold all over the world. And now, that is intellectual property that you can patent.
Now, so you've got the intellectual property, you've got processing and making of oils. What's your third pillar?
Sales and marketing. Sales and marketing are really, really important.
Okay.
To have, to have a solid market for it. But, the idea of having proprietary extraction techniques so that you're extracting it with oil, with products that are going to make it safe for human consumption. And you're not using any type of, a toxic agent to extract and process the oil, which most places are just not doing that. Most people or most companies just go out and buy an extraction machine, and you go and take the 6-day course, and you come back and start using it. Okay, well, our scientists do this in what they call clean rooms, where the temperature is 62 degrees, it's 50% humidity the whole time, and you've got people that are wearing gowns and gloves and booties so that everything remains sterile. We're just doing it different. We're doing it like like anything for human consumption should be done, especially if you're going to call it a safe for human consumption.
So, Manny, people go out, they go to the store, they buy these CBD bottles in their hair salon or at the, I don't know wherever they buy them. I buy them in the dispensary, so I believe that they're at least somewhat supervised. But the CBD you can just buy on the street or in the CBD store or the smoke shop. How pure and good is that, and how authentic is it?
Well, I mean, just, a couple of things I can tell you, a couple of anecdotal studies are that 87% of all medical marijuana that has been tested by doctors from the Journal of the American Medical Association have failed the testing. And that's in different states. It's not just in one. It's in different states where they went to medical marijuana clinics, they bought products, they took it to their facilities, tested it, and found out that 87% did not have what was on the label inside the bottle. Okay, in Orlando, I think it was last year, there was an article about one of Orlando's radio stations went by and just randomly bought CBD at these flea markets, stands that were set up, stores. Don't want to mention any names, but they found out that none of them had, and this is in the Orlando area, none of them had what in the bottle, what was on the label.
Okay, we only got a couple of minutes, and I want to talk about why that's important in sales and marketing, because you're going to want to put your products on the shelves of some of the top retailers. What's the process, and why have people been blocked, and why can you get through?
Well, the reason, because I've dealt with these companies for 28 years selling them plants. And I know what you've got to have product liability insurance. Like with a plant, for example, if you sell a plant with a ceramic pot and somebody picks it up off the shelf and it drops it on their foot and breaks their foot, it's not the store that gets sued. It's the store gets sued, but they pass it on to you as the cultivator and supplier of that product. And that's the same thing that happens here. You've got to have a very pure product, or they're not going to put it on the shelves because they don't want nor need the liability.
So they test it, they review it, their processes, and you've worked with them on it in the past.
Right. And I know of one major chain right now that has looked at over 30 different CBDs, manufacturers, and they all failed their test.
Why will you pass?
Because in like the state of Florida, for example, with their edibles, there is, and this is in medical marijuana, and it's in most states. There's a 15% variance. You can have a 15% variance with what's in the bottle and on the label. Okay, when I tell that to my scientists, they laugh. And then they laugh and they cry at the same time because they say that's not science. When you're off 15%, that's not science. Our guys strive, and we do produce 99.99% pure product because that's what they were trained to do.
Manny, I really appreciate you being on the show today. The guys are going to go to you hear them right there. So we're going to kind of wrap up. We've only got a minute to go. Manny, I'm going to call you back after the show. We're going to catch up on all of our open items. I want to remind everybody that this has been Freed on Business. I want to thank the building for holding off on the repairs so I could get most of the show in. I want to give a shout out to all the first responders that are listening, all the healthcare heroes, and all the kids like those that we had on the show today that are struggling to make a difference in our more and more complex and difficult world. I want to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry Automotive, Deep Blocks, Creco AI, Carlson Integrated, and Turkel Brands, the Berkshire Center for Real Estate Studies. And I want to thank you, our listener. Without you, we wouldn't have a reason for podcasting. Please go to our Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, every place. I'm everywhere. Like us. Tell your friends. Share our stories. Remember, give us feedback and comments. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, website, Freedom Business gets 600-700 downloads a week. My goodness. If you missed today's show, Reagan will have it up probably in the next couple of hours. Next week, more Silver Knights and probably more Manny. Why? Because I just love doing this. Remember, the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now, go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the state of Florida. Reagan Mendoza, I'm out of here.